Hello, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be the big second chunk of reading that we're going to do, and it's called on the third. No, it's called not called on the third. The third Tuesday, we talk about regrets. The next Tuesday, I arrived with the normal bags of food: pasta with corn, potato salad, apple cobbler, and something else, a Sony tape recorder. I want to remember what we talked about, I told Maury. I want to have your voice so I can listen to it later, when I'm dead. Don't say that, he laughed. Mitch, I'm going to die, and sooner not later. He regarded he regarded the new machine. So big, he said, I felt intrusive, as a reporter often does, and I began to think about that a tape machine between two people who were supposedly friends was a foreign object, an artificial ear. With all the people clamoring for this time, perhaps I was trying to take too much away from these Tuesdays. Listen, I said, picking up the recorder, we don't have to use this if it makes you uncomfortable. He stopped me, wagged a finger, and then hooked his glasses off of his nose, letting them dangle on the string around his neck. He looked at me square in the eye. Put it down, he said. I put it down. Mitch, he continued softly, you don't understand. I want to tell you about my life. I want to tell you before I can tell you any more. I want to tell you before I can't tell you anymore. His voice dropped to a whisper. I want someone to hear my story. Will you? I nodded. We sat quietly for a moment. So, he said, is it turned on? Now, the truth is, the tape recorder was more than nostalgia. I was losing Maury. We were all losing Maury. His family, his friends, his ex-students, his fellow professors, his pals from the political discussion groups that he loved so much, his former dance partners, all of us. And I suppose tapes, like photographs and videos, are a desperate attempt to steal something from Death's suitcase. But it was also becoming so clear to me, through his courage, his humor, his patience, and his openness, that Maury was looking at life from some different place than anyone else I knew, a healthier place, a more sensible place, and he was about to die. If some mythical clarity of thought came when you looked death in the eye, then I knew Maury wanted to share it, and I wanted to remember it as long as I could. The first time I saw Maury on Nightline, I wondered what regrets he had once he knew his death was imminent. Did he laminate lost friends? Would he have done stuff? I'm sorry, I'm going to start over with this part. The first time I saw Maury on Nightline, I wondered what regrets he had once he knew his death was imminent. Did he laminate lost friends? Would he have done things differently? Selfishly, I wondered if I were in his shoes, would I be consumed with sad thoughts of all the things that I'd missed? Would I regret the secrets I'd kept hidden? When I mentioned this to Maury, he nodded. It's what everyone worries about, isn't it? What if today were my last day on earth? He studied my face, and perhaps he saw an ambivalence about my own choices. I had this vision of me kneeling over at my desk one day, halfway through a story, my editor snatching the copy even as the medics carried away my body. Mitch, Maury said. I shook my head and said nothing, but Maury picked up on my hesitation. Mitch, he said, the culture doesn't encourage you to think about such things until you're about to die. We've so wrapped up with egotistical things, career, family, having enough money, meeting the mortgage, getting a new car, fixing the radiator when it breaks. We're involved in a trillion of little acts just to keep going. So we don't go into the habit of standing back and looking at our lives and saying, is that all? Is that all I wanted? Is something missing? He paused. You need someone to probe you in the direction. It won't just happen automatically. I knew what he was saying. We all need teachers in our lives, and mine was sitting in front of me. Fine, I figured out if I was to be the student, then I would be as good a student as I could be. On the plane ride home, I made a small list on a yellow legal pad, issues and questions that we all grapple with, from happiness to aging to having children to death. Of course, there were a million self-help books on these subjects and plenty of cable TV shows and $90 per hour consultation visits. America had become a Persian bazaar of self-help. But there still seemed to be no clear answers. Do you take care of others or take care of your inner child? Return to traditional values or reject traditional as useless? Seek success or seek simplicity? Just say no or just do it? All I knew was this: Maury, my old professor, wasn't in the self-help business. He was standing on the tracks, listening to death's locomotive whistle and he was very clear about the important things in life. I wanted that clarity. Every confused and tortured soul I knew wanted that clarity. Ask me again, Maury said. So I wrote this list down: death, fear, aging, greed, marriage, family, society, forgiveness, and the meaning of life. The list was in my bag when I returned to West Newton for the fourth time, a Tuesday in late August when the air conditioning at the Logan Airport terminal was not working, and people fanned themselves and wiped sweat angrily from their foreheads, and every face I saw looked ready to kill somebody. Now, this is a flashback. By the start of my senior year, I'd taken so many sociology classes. I'm only a few credits shy of a degree. Maury suggests I try an honors thesis. Me, I ask, what would I write about? What interests you? He said. We batted back and forth until we finally settle on all the things, sports. I began a year-long project on how football in America has come ritualistic, almost a religion, an opiate of the masses. I have no idea I have no idea that this is training for my future career. It only gives me another once a week session with Maury. And with this help, by spring, I have a 112-page thesis, researched, footnoted, documented, and neatly bound in black leather. I show it to Maury with pride, like a little leaguer rounding the bases for the first time on his first home run. Congratulations, Maury says. I grin as he leafs through it, and I glance around his office. The shelves of books, the hardwood floor, the throw rug, the couch. I think to myself as I've sat the I think to myself that I have sat just about everywhere there is to sit in this room. I don't know, Mitch, Maury muses, adjusting his head as he reads it. With work like this, we may have to get you back here for grad school. Yeah, right, I say. I snicker, but the idea is momentarily appealing. Parts of me is scared of leaving school. Part of me wants to go desperately. Tensions of opposites. I watch Maury as he reads my thesis and wonders what the big world will be like out there. That concludes this chapter.